Hello, I'm Jeremy Vine, and this is Panorama.
The mother accused of killing her bedridden daughter.
I don't use this room really, it's just, it's just Lynn's room.
What happened the night she died?
About 1:45, she knocked. I went in and I saw the look of determination, like she psyched herself up and, really, I have to do this.
For 10 months, our cameras have followed this ordinary mum, caught up in extraordinary events.
Whatever the consequences, I would do it again.
For a year, Kay Gilderdale believed she could go to prison for the attempted murder of her own daughter. And then last week, a court cleared her, the judge agreeing that she was just a loving mum trying to do the best for her sick child. The cheers of her relatives may have died down, but the debate around this case has not. If out of love and dedication, Kay helped her own daughter commit suicide, should the law take action against her or not?
This is the home in East Sussex where Kay and her daughter lived. Now she has only Lynn's belongings.
These are clothes that Lynn chose from catalogues. It's the odd thing that I just bought her when I was out, but most of them she chose for when she was better. Price that one.
Kay lives on memories of the daughter she loved.
She had quite a strong personality and she was very popular. She'd come home from school, bursting to tell you everything that was going on. And
Happy child?
Happy child, yeah. She loved sailing, loved swimming. She loved music and dancing. She was interested in everything, really.
And despite everything that's happened, I'm imagining you can picture that quite vividly.
I have very strong pictures of her. I see her running, because she was a great runner as well, and striding out, and I just catch all the things in my head of when she was able to do all that.
We were all very active and we all spent a lot of time outside. We spent a lot of time on the beach here, and it was really the time before Lynn got ill, where we were very happy and we did normal family stuff.
Living by the sea, a loving and healthy family. Kay, the auxiliary nurse. Husband Richard, a policeman. No clue of what was about to happen.
We used to sit on the beach here and look at Lynn and her brother enjoying themselves and thinking how lucky we were to have such fit and healthy children. It's very difficult to describe how I feel now. I look around and I see her everywhere, really. Yeah, it was where she was free, and before she knew what pain was and hospitals and sickness.
Lynn was 14 when everything changed, and the start of it was so mundane.
There was a call from the school to go and collect her that afternoon because she wasn't very well. Tried to send her back again the next day. She's sent home sick again. The third day we send her and she's sent home sick again, and she just wasn't able to go anymore after that. Very quickly she got the flu, then she got bronchitis, tonsillitis, glandular fever, chest infections again, and you're beginning to realise then there's something wrong, that it wasn't just an ordinary illness.
Lynn had fallen ill in 1991. She was diagnosed with a severe form of ME, which attacked her body relentlessly.
By May, she was in a wheelchair. Her voice had gone to a whisper. She was having difficulty swallowing. She couldn't remember people or things or places.
Sort of a physical destruction in a way.
Yes, yeah. Then we realised that nobody had the answer. There wasn't a magic cure.
This is Lynn in her sickbed. She was filmed for a documentary on ME, which showed how, from her 15th birthday, she was paralysed from the waist down and could only be fed through a tube.
it was a conscious decision that I was going to look after, and I told her many times, for as long as it takes, I'll be here, I'll look after you.
Did she then worry about what she was doing to your life?
Yeah, she said that on occasions, but she wasn't difficult to look after. She didn't complain. She might lie and cry in pain sometimes, but she didn't complain. And in fact, I was honoured to spend so much time with her. She was a wonderful person because she was so determined. She was very, very strong. She was a real fighter.
But her body was giving up. Over 16 years, she would be in hospital 50 times with a succession of serious illnesses.
How's that, Lynn? It's all right. Feel better once you have something in your tum.
Kay was there constantly for her daughter, but so was the pain. They both lived on hope. One day, Lynn would recover.
She was such a beautiful girl. I could imagine her looking absolutely stunning in something like that.
Yes, she was going to make up for the time that she's lost and socialise, because she was
the time she never had.
Yeah, but she was hoping that she would be the young woman going out to occasions to wear the stuff.
Yeah.
Did you feel, though, watching her at some point, you maybe were ahead of her, thinking, I don't know how to tell you this, but I don't think this is beatable?
Yeah. Say whatever is causing the ME goes away. She's now left with all these very, very significant conditions. She had osteoporosis with 50% bone loss. She had broken bones just by being moved. Total adrenal failure, ongoing anemia, liver dysfunction, hypothalamic dysfunction.
You've given a list there, which is enough to end it.
Premature ovarian failure as well.
So, well, I mean, even that on its own was a signal to her she would never have children.
She got to the point herself that she said, I'm too broken, you can't fix me anymore. She felt her only escape was to die.
And she tried to break free. In May 2007, attempting suicide.
She mentioned on several occasions that she did not want to carry on the way she was. She did make it aware that she wanted to end her life, yes. She was a very intelligent girl who knew exactly what she wanted to do and what had to be done. So.
However painful for her brother and parents, there was no doubting Lynn's wish to die. She had painstakingly written her own online journal.
My body and mind is broken. I am so desperate to end the never-ending carousel of pain and suffering. I have nothing left, and I am spent.
You're torn apart because you've got one party wanting to respect your daughter's wishes, and you've got your heart being ripped out at the same time because all you want to do is make them better and keep them alive.
At what point did you realise that not only were you prepared for her to go, but you were actually prepared to help?
I knew I'd be prepared to take her to Switzerland. However, I did it. I don't know how I would get her there, but I knew I would be prepared to try and get her there. But there's no way that I could know how I would react in the situation I found myself in.
Lynn couldn't wait for Switzerland. In December 2008, she took a massive dose of morphine. When I first met Kay, we didn't talk about the events of that night. On our second meeting, she was ready to.
She held it up to show me, and there was about a third left of the whole dose. I just sat beside her and said, you know, what are you doing?
So you talked to her?
Yes. I tried to dissuade her, and she asked me, pleaded with me to help her to get more morphine. So I went and got the morphine and took it into her, and I saw the look of determination, like she psyched herself up and, you know, really, I have to do this. She took the last 2 syringes that I gave her, and she wouldn't let me go near them She obviously knew that she had to do it, and she pressed the plungers, and just as she did, the lights went out in the house, one of the circuits went out. I said, wait, because my heart was wanting her to stay. And she said no, and continued to push the plunger, and she went unconscious straight away.
Her last words to you were what?
Her last words were, she's frightened. And I thought she meant she was frightened of the unknown. And I said, why are you frightened? And she said, I'm frightened for you, and I'm frightened it won't work.
Detectives are investigating the death of 31-year-old Lynn Gilderdale after they were called to a house in Stonegate, East Sussex, last Thursday.
The mother of a woman who died after a 17-year struggle against ME has been charged with trying to kill her. Lynn Gilderdale's
So
body
now
was
it was
found
not
at her home
just
last
a family
December. Her
matter.
mother,
Police
Kay,
and courts are involved. Today, Kay is due in Crown Court. Will she face a full trial? And on what charge?
I'm anxious because even though you have an idea of what's supposed to happen today, I won't know till we're there and it happens. What I would like, obviously, is for them to drop the charge of attempted murder.
She has pleaded guilty to assisting Lynn's suicide, but will never accept the other charge, attempted murder. Her family know that could mean life in jail.
I'll never plead guilty to that charge, no matter what they offer me. They can put me in a cell, they can do anything they want. I had no right to force her to stay and suffer more.
Less than 2 hours later, the family emerge from court in shock. The Crown is pursuing the attempted murder charge. The trial date is set for January.
It will never change that I know I did the right thing for Lynn. She's free and at peace where she needed to be.
Kay's prosecution came as our lawmakers were trying to work out if it could ever be legal to help in a suicide. In the House of Lords, some suggested a relative who took a person abroad to die should not be arrested on their return.
Nobody, in my view correctly, has the stomach to prosecute in cases of compassionate assistance.
By going with this amendment, we turn the traffic lights from red to green on state-sanctioned assisted dying.
Baroness Campbell's impassioned plea won the day. She said it was too dangerous to relax the law. But then Debbie Purdy won a landmark appeal which reversed the argument. She wanted the assurance that if her husband helped her die, he would not be jailed. The Director of Public Prosecutions reacts by saying he'll bring out guidelines.
Because of the position that Mrs. Purdy's in particular, I'm going to issue an interim policy ready for the end of September.
But as Debbie Purdy's supporters celebrated, in Sussex, Kay was still left worrying. She could be found guilty of attempting to murder her own child.
The last week has been very difficult. I feel I have to clear things in the house and get everything organised because I don't know what's going to happen. The other thing that I've been doing is she wanted me to have a sale for ME, so I've booked the village hall and I'm going to have the sale that she wanted to have.
Kay is well supported locally. The sale in Lynn's memory brings the village together. It is, at least, a distraction from the court case.
Lynn was a fantastic part of my life. I've given my newborn daughter Lynn's name just to keep that going. And it just seemed absolutely incredible that a mother who was so caring and loving and supportive could have had that charge thrown at her. I don't understand it. I don't think I ever will, and I don't think many people do.
So Kay's friends are hoping the DPP's new guidelines will shed light on her case.
What we've tried to do in the policy is to distinguish between those who are vulnerable to the encouragement of others who may gain, on the one hand, and on the other hand, the family compassionate sort of arrangements that are made in many tragic cases where people fear they may be prosecuted.
Those words lift Kay's spirits. The guidelines suggest the help she gave Lynn was legal.
More and more details have come out, and he lists factors that indicate when somebody should be prosecuted, when they should not. They appear to me to be very clear and very helpful.
Not everyone agrees. Just before Christmas, I met Baroness Campbell, who'd argued so strongly in the House of Lords. The guidelines alarm her.
They're not just guidelines. They're the beginning of the process. Once you open the door a crack, you're beginning to sanction or say to a culture, yes, in some circumstances, it is right to mercy kill disabled or terminally ill people. I would say to you, that's very dangerous.
But here you have a situation with a very ill daughter,
Yes.
and been ill for a long time, can't move, and she wants to die, and she enlists the help of her mum. The next thing that happened is she's in court. That doesn't feel right, does it?
If we don't send a strong message out that says killing someone, helping them to commit suicide is wrong and it's against the law, if we don't do that, the consequences are going to be far worse. And yes, if that means a day in court, and it will be tough, then that's the price we have to pay for keeping safe possibly hundreds of other people in similar circumstances. I hope Kay, the loving mother in court, will understand why she's there, and I hope we take care of her.
But she does not feel taken care of. With the guidelines out, Kay is still facing a trial. The charge is still attempted murder.
The situation that I'm in shows that that even with the interim guidelines, that people are still prosecuted.
She's going to Wales to see a man who used to be a prominent figure in public life.
We're on our way to go and see Chris Woodhead, who's got motor neuron disease, and it'll be very interesting to hear his feelings about what he's going to have to face in the future.
A poll carried out for this program found that where a person is terminally ill, around 3/4 of those questioned believe friends and relatives should be able to assist without fear of prosecution. Chris Woodhead believes the existing law should be left alone.
Hello, Kay. Forgive me not getting up. It's a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
But really nice to see you.
Chris
You made it
knows
through
that
the
motor neuron
wind and the
disease
rain
will
and
kill him.
The track.
He simply wants control over when and the right to choose who will help if he can't do it himself.
There will come a time when I would prefer to end it. That, of course, raises a question of timing. If you leave it too late, then you are dependent upon your nearest and dearest, and there is still a great deal of uncertainty about where that leaves the person who has helped you. I mean, I think
the DPP intended his guidelines to make things clearer, but Chris Woodhead believes they've actually made matters worse.
on the one hand, he's saying that if somebody acts through good motives, that they're not seeking to benefit personally from the death, then that's okay. But of course, the person who is going to assist you may offer the assistance out of the best possible motives, their love for you, but they are likely to benefit from your death, and therefore it seems to me are still possibly going to end up in court being prosecuted.
I just felt such relief when I saw it. I thought there's going to be hope for people who are in this position. But then as time went on, I thought, it's not enough.
You know, I'd rather live with the grey situation that we're in and rely upon the wisdom and experience of the individual doctor. I'm probably in a better position where we are than I would be if the great and the good have pontificated and Parliament has ruled and the so-called grey area has been clarified in a way that is more, definite. I'm just not confident that we're ever going to get to that clarity.
But clarity is precisely what people like Debbie Purdy are calling for. Her landmark case led directly to the DPP reviewing the current guidelines. If Debbie's progressive MS becomes too much, she wants to be sure her husband, Omar, won't be prosecuted if she chooses to die abroad with his help.
I think the idea of saying, well, a fudge in the law, lack of clarity, let's not talk about it, let's not get it any clearer. It's lack of respect for the democratic process. This is the only law in the United Kingdom where carrying out an act is legal, but assisting in that act is illegal.
You're saying to somebody, we respect your right, you can take your life, but yet you can't tell somebody else that they can assist you if you're not able to do it. So it doesn't make sense, the law doesn't make sense as it stands.
We're asking politicians to pass a law that gives a guideline to enable patients to make choices for themselves, and if they require help, to be able to ask for help.
With a lot to think about, Kay goes back to Sussex. She's burdened not only with the loss of her daughter, but with preparing to fight her corner in a court case that is now only weeks away.
All the talk about new guidelines on assisted suicide and everything hasn't made any difference to my case. When I was charged in the beginning and everything, I had ideas of this charge be dropped, and now I feel that the trial is almost here and I really don't know what to expect. I suppose in some ways I've prepared myself for anything.
In our poll, where, as in Lynn's case, an illness is painful and incurable, but not fatal, public opinion is pretty evenly split on friends and relatives being allowed to assist without fear of prosecution.
For those of us who have terminal illnesses or progressive disabilities, the law is there that says, no, thou shalt not kill us. But it has a kind heart and understands the complex nature and the tragedies that surround some of these cases.
If you'd been Lynn's mother, would you have said no?
I'd like to think that I would have done. I think about, would I want to be helped on my way? And then I think, goodness, what would that do to my husband for the rest of his life? For me, it's as wrong to ask somebody to kill you as it is for someone to kill you. It's not all one way.
Should we cut across here?
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Hello. Hi.
Where are you travelling to today?
Dublin,
Dublin.
please.
Thank you. May I have your passport?
Kay's family are from Ireland.
Thank you.
The bonds are strong. They've suggested getting together before she faces a judge and jury. It is very nearly a year since Lynn died.
Hi, how are you? Okay?
Not so bad.
Her brother Vinny will toast the niece his sister is accused of trying to murder.
Hi, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to propose a toast to Lynn as it is her anniversary. And I know she would take a lot of joy in seeing Kay smiling. Lynn will always be in her thoughts.
Thank you. All the support really does help me get through it. It has helped me get through the last year, and I reckon Lynn is sitting there somewhere saying, cheers, I'm in a better place.
Kay's sister lives in the same house their grandparents once shared.
It's really nice. It's still got that, lovely, peaceful feeling to it. My grandparents are buried here, and my mother is buried here as well. It's certainly the wrong order of things to lose your children or child before you. But I never thought that I'd outlive my children. I didn't know how long it would take for Lynn to die.
When did you realise that Lynn had actually died?
It was at 7:10 in the morning. I think I knew instantly.
It took 30 hours for Lynn to die. Cause of death? a morphine overdose. Lynn injected the morphine into herself, of course, so what exactly did her mother do? The prosecution said she gave her crushed up pills and injected her with air and extra morphine, breaking off to surf the net for information on overdoses. She was unsure her daughter would die, so she took over.
If what she was able to do on her own didn't cause the end of her life, the state still seems to say at that point, it's wrong for you to take over.
Yes, but I felt that Lynn was dying after the morphine overdose. She started to show signs of distress with her breathing, and I was really worried that she was suffering in some way. So I got a few tablets, again, not the cocktail that the papers reported or that the prosecution made it sound to be. I crushed them and gave them to her.
So that is the moment where, for the first time in all of this, I guess you have taken the initiative.
Yes, I was trying to work out what I could give her that would stop the distress without causing her harm.
What were you doing on the internet at this point? What was that for?
They made it sound in court as though I browsed the internet for ages and that I wasn't with Lynn. Anytime I left Lynn, I had an intercom with me and I was running. I didn't want to be away from her. I was running back and forth.
Did you inject her with air?
No, I don't. I don't remember injecting her with air.
You phoned the euthanasia group Exit.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
I wanted advice. I wanted to know why she didn't die with the amount of morphine that she had. I wanted to be with her and do whatever I could to make that time as comfortable as possible. And yes, the state was saying that once that point came where I started to administer things, that it was attempted murder. But it wasn't. It was helping Lynn to be as comfortable as possible whilst adhering to her wishes.
At last, relief for the family. Kay is cleared. The jury took only 2 hours to throw the case out.
Thank you all.
Excuse me, please.
I'm just very grateful for the outcome.
The hardest thing that I have ever experienced and will ever in my life, no matter what happens to me, there will be nothing that will compare to the pain and the heartbreak of watching my beautiful daughter leave this world.
Well, since Kay Gilderdale's acquittal, the Crown Prosecution Service has been widely criticised for pursuing that attempted murder charge against her. It says it accepts the jury's verdict, but it is insisting that there was sufficient evidence to warrant the trial. You can find out more about this programme and, of course, the poll that we've been reporting on by going to the Panorama website. Next week, I'll be looking at the massive new database that'll be vetting the 9 million people who want to work with children and vulnerable adults.